Welcome back to Full Draw Adventure Crew. My name is Voss, and we are working on James's Jeep today. James is over here. We got this beautiful axle, bunch of parts everywhere, and it all has to go in that Jeep. We have 2 weeks before Carson car show that we are attending, and we want to put a nice display of some cool Jeeps. In the background, you might notice the green Jeep is gonna get a new paint coat of deep green. My brother requested that, so his son and my son are going to be working on that. A few months back, we got this axle from our buddy John Larson, and he gave us a pretty good deal on it.
We are here in Colfax, California to pick up my second axle, which is the front axle. We're here wheeling with John Larson here. What's going on?
Yep.
And so we're going to pick this up, so stay tuned as this thing progresses. We'll check you out.
Yep, we're gonna have a front JL axle that's gonna go into the red XJ as we're building it up.
Yeah, these JL 44s are gonna be sweet in there. They're perfect for an XJ.
All right, well, John, open your shirt, show us your little logo.
Little logos I made.
People will know what to look for.
Yeah, check out my YouTube channel if you want.
Yep.
If you don't, that's fine too. Blunjon83 on YouTube.
Gotcha.
Hopefully get more wheeling videos in this year.
Yeah, you gotta hang out with us though.
I know. Well, I actually do plan on it. I'm still recovering from a second concussion this year, so I know it's been a struggle this year. Normally I probably wheel every other weekend, every other year than this year, and then this year has been like 3 wheeling trips instead of 20. So hopefully next year I'll get back on that cadence and get a lot of cool like wheeling footage out there. I've got a bunch of Jeeps, so.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, let's load up that axle.
Get it in there.
And we'll get going. Because then we gotta build it up and look at this thing.
It's got Terraflex ball joints, and then these are the Curry Rock Jock. Well, they're not called Curry anymore, but they're Rock Jock upper control and bushings.
So it's even better.
Brand new.
Even better.
Right? Yeah, 410s, E-locker, Rubicon front end. It's nothing wrong with it. We just upgraded to reed gear and do chromos and reeds on the Spicer axle.
Awesome. And our plan is today is getting that Dana 30 out and put in this Dana 44 or M210 Rubicon axle in, and just to show you when we pull that one out with all the brake rotors and everything, I want to show you how big this axle is compared to what's in that Jeep. And we're gonna have some long arms and a lot of things to do, so I'm gonna have James start on jacking up his Jeep and start getting the front axle out, get the wheels off and everything. So I'll be getting ready a few of the things that I need to build for the hydro assist and everything. So you go ahead and get started, James. What I'm working on is getting a hydro assist ram installed in a spot where on the Gladiators and JL Rubicons they have the stabilizer, which is this bracket here, and then there's this bracket that goes over here that puts this stabilizer in, which means when it's sitting here, it's pretty much flat and it's protected. I had mine for about 3 years now and haven't busted the ram yet. So I did exact same thing for Tanya, and now we're doing exact same thing for James. Because I just do copycats of something that works. So that's basically the idea. I'm gonna put it here. I got some of these misalignment spacers, which we gotta cut them down to fit this little opening here. And then I custom build from this stuff a bracket that's gonna hold this side of the ram, and that's what I'm working on. James is almost got the axle off. A few more hours and we'll have it on the ground, right, James?
Yeah, whatever he said.
All right, we got the Dana 30 out and lined it up with the Dana 44 center to center on the pinions. And as you can see, we got about, I would say, a good solid 3 inches. James, what do you
look? 3.5.
3 to 3.5.
Yeah. On each side,
wider.
So that's 7 inches total.
Yeah. Yep. That's why we use positive offset rims versus when you run on Dana 30s, you use the offset, negative offset to bring them out. Which it's not gonna the wheels are not gonna stick out too much wider than the rock sliders. As you can see right now, the rock sliders are wider than the wheels in the back. All right, we gotta transfer a few things, and off we go with dropping in the Dana 44. Look at that thing floating. Yep, gonna build some long arms. Cut off the bracket, so James gonna have fun with Sawzall here for a minute, but it's gonna be good.
Serious question on camera. The motor is a 4-liter, so we're putting all these big tires on, putting all this extra weight on. Explain to us how the gearing helps offset the new amount of weight. I think people are curious.
All right, so with the Dana 30 being stock about 29s, they run usually 355 is the most common gear ratio in this, and this is what pretty much this one has, is a 355. We are going from stock 29s to 37s, and we are using 538 gears, which means if you look at it, and you can do a calculator, it's going to be pretty close to what it was stock for the motor and transmission to feel like. Yes, it's going to be a lot more rolling resistance. That's going to add more force on the transmission to work harder, going up hills and everything. But your transmission is going to shift in the right spots as it would with the stock tires. So overall, it's not that big of a deal. The only thing is of course, we overload these vehicles with weight of the axles, weight of the tires, weight of rooftop tents, and all the junk. Of course it's gonna go. Yeah, of course it's gonna go up a hill, struggling, until you build a engine that can, handle that kind of weight and be more horsepower. But that's a next project. That's when basically James wants to build a motor. I tell him we gotta wait till his motor does what my motor did, and stick the hand, to shake a hand straight out of the block, aka connecting rod. So, but till then, we're gonna keep going with the rock crawling capabilities of it, and then going uphill capability is gonna be later.
So what is next on our process for right now? So we got the old one out, we got the old lower control arms out.
Yep.
We have those long arms down there, right?
And right now we gotta cut the brackets off for the short arms, because they are right in the line of sight for the long arms to travel up, and we need to clear those off first before we can even roll in the big axle and start building anything. I'm gonna build the upper long arms already when we put the axle in, because I want to see what the pinion angle needs to be, and that's when I'll build them, because they're very easy to build anyways. Is just put the joint in the bracket, and then see where you need to put the end cap at the axle side. So James got a little bit of fun stuff to do right now, is cutting the brackets off.
Yay,
and the best way to do it is Sawzall. I tried grinders, I tried plasma. Sawzall seems to be the easiest way and the fastest way to do it. All right, so as I was mentioning before, the difference between Dana 30s and your coil bucket is, as you can see, it's forward of the center of the axle tube. On the JLs and JTs, it is slightly behind the center of the tube, which in terms already pushes your axle forward. Then I did a measurement from the center of your upper control arm up to here, and as if you look at it, it's roughly about 11 and a half, depends what you're going off of. And if we look on here, we're about 10 and a half, so that's about an inch. This axle is shorter, so the drive shaft has to travel. But because we are pushing the center of the coil, where the center of the axle is going to be forward, because we don't want our coils to look weird, it's already pushing that 1 inch forward, which is from here to the yoke. It is about 10 and a half, and then from here it's about 11. So we're returning 1 inch back. So technically there is no need to extend the axle forward if you're going to be running like 35s. But because we're going to be running a 37, we will need to push the axle forward by about an inch to be able to clear the inside the wheel well, because 37 will come in too close to the wheel well. And I can show you that on my Jeep, where I have the whole axle pushed 2 inches forward, making this in center with that, and enough clearance to clear the 37 and the wheel well. So there you go. That's why we doing these swaps, to make things a lot better and more capable.
These are called Baltic bump stops, right?
Huh?
Baltic bump stops.
All I know is they're bump stops, not bum stops.
So basically no homeless people are hanging out with this. It's not a bum stop. Hey there, little one, how are you? Wanna say hi?
I've been doing it all week, bro.
Good job.
All right, so
Okay, give us an update of exactly where we're at right now.
we are ready to roll in the axle under the Jeep. We got the hydro assist in here. It's all bolted up, tightened, just waiting for the hose to hook up. Gonna have a track bar go in here. The only thing is I gotta open up a hole bigger on the track bar, because that one is I believe a 3/8 bolt. We want to go 1/2 inch, and pretty much it. Everything else is ready to roll under. James cut the brackets off. We're close. The front's gonna be easy. Then we're gonna turn it around and do the rear, and we should be driving before midnight today.
9 p.m. Wow. Well, that was a lot right there. So this is where we're at now. This is now got some connections here. We're connected here, but quite a bit still to go. But holy moly, that's pretty awesome. Look at that. Wow. It's pretty interesting. So the funny thing is I really don't know what any of this stuff does. I kind of have no idea what any of it is. Fortunately, we have someone here that does. And I don't know about that guy, but this guy pretty much knows what's going on and where it's got to go. But yeah, what do you think of that? That's pretty cool. That axle weighs a ton. So kind of interesting here, just to show you real quick. This is a stock caliper. Look at the the two side by side. Look at that little tiny caliper, big monster caliper. Holy moly.
All right, James is out to the store to grab a special U-joint. Apparently the yokes that we got on the Dana 44s are 1350 and the drive shafts are 1310. It's not a big deal. Tanya has exact same setup with 1310 and 1350 conversion U-joint. Works amazing. You just have to carry a spare one, exact same one, because not a lot of people are gonna have that part. But I got the hydro hooked up, covered myself completely in power steering fluid and everything else. That's why I kind of don't like painting things before we put it on the car, but because it was easier to paint, it's just going to be a bunch of touch-ups after that. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw the coil buckets in, put it at right height, and see which coils we're going to use, because we have two different sizes. We have a 5.5 and we have a 4.5. So we're going to see which ones are going to be better. Let's throw them on there, see how it looks. All right, so that's what the Jeep looks like on 37s with factory fenders and everything. Yeah, a lot of clearance to do, but our center of the axle is pretty good here. So we're gonna probably change these coils because it's sitting way too tall right now. But I'll let the owner decide that, because we put in 5.5s and we still got to do the track bar adjustment to bring it in more. But we'll see.
So I just got back from the auto parts store to pick up some parts, and I got back to see this sitting on these 37s, and these are like some 5-inch lifted springs or whatever we call them over here, right?
Yeah, but because your axle perch where it sits off, it's already giving you 1.5 lift. So we're technically, if these are 5.5s, 1.5, so we're at 7.
7-inch lift.
7-inch lift. I think it's too tall.
It's pretty tall, yeah. I suppose with cutting the fenders, which we're going to do, which is going to bring that line way up, I think we're going to have to use the other springs that were in there, because it definitely did not sit down. It didn't sit down far, but dude, look at that.
Keep those shocks when I do 40s.
Yeah.
Springs, you mean? I have 8.5s in the backyard.
Yeah, but there's, wow, there it is. Oh, but we don't have any shocks on it yet either, though, huh?
No. All right, we have failed. It is almost 10 p.m., but we only have front axle in 99%. And we only have one caliper leaking. My fault. Grinded too much.
Oops.
But 37s are up. Steering is functional after we fixed my tightened leaks. We're using the 4.5-inch coil, so we got 6.5-inch lift on here, which I'm going to compare to my stock Jeep that I have. I'm going to bring it back home and we'll measure what that one sits, and then what these are sitting with the suspension lift, not tire lift. All right, I guess I'll finish the other axle without James, because we live what, 2 hours apart?
Hour and a half, 90 miles.
Yeah, well, 99 miles.
Yeah.
So we'll I'll be working on it. I got a couple days during the week to swap the rear, and then hopefully next Saturday we'll be building fenders. Or we won't.
We will. We have to.
We'll see.
We have to.
Because we got only one weekend left.
Dun dun dun.
Yep. And
Down to the wire.
it is what it is. All right, we'll see you next day.